Hey y'all, it's Katie and welcome back to another video from me. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to check out another one of my videos. And in today's video, as you guys saw from the title, I am wanting to do just a typical will I buy it? I'm talking about new makeup releases because it's been a long time since I was able to do one. I think it was in the beginning of last month that I did my last one, and there have been so many launches that have come out since then, so many that are sneaking to come out soon, and I've just been looking forward to sitting down and getting to chat with you guys about some of those new releases that really caught my eye. So I figured today I could sneak in this video and hopefully get it edited and turned around and hopefully post sometime this weekend, and we can just chit chat about the new makeup releases that have caught my eye, most of them indie makeup as always. And yeah, if that sounds good to you, I'll keep this intro very short and sweet and let's just dive right into it. So I'm scooting over so I can put the images right here. Still getting used to my new setup. I'm literally touching the palettes and the shelf behind me, but trying to get as far away from the camera because I feel like I'm way too close these days. And I'm just gonna go to Motivate the Earth, and I'll leave it linked down below in the description box if you want to check it out. But they just post new makeup releases in the indie world, so I'm gonna go there and just kind of go down from there. Fenty Beauty just teased this new launch. It looks like a red lipstick, and the packaging is definitely different. I think that's just a bag that has that person on it, like the full body image, but then also looks like there's a blush, blue eyeliner, red lipstick, and I think a blush. I'm not sure what the compact is. It looks kind of blue from the, oh no, I think that's a mirror. I'm not sure. Maybe it's just a mirror, folded mirror compact then. That would make sense from the way they're holding it, not really featuring it. So mirror, lipstick, eyeliner. Not my kind of vibe. The packaging is different for sure, but not really my vibe either. Easy pass for me, but that just was announced like a couple hours ago. Also, a sneak peek that they're doing is Pat McGrath. I'm sure it's going to come out tonight after I record this video, but they're sneaking their next palette launch, and so far they've put a reel out that has the image of the palette or whatever it is, but it's all blurred out. So everyone's giving their guesses. I have no idea what it's going to be. It looks pretty, as is all of Pat McGrath's eyeshadow, or all of Pat McGrath's makeup launches, always so beautiful. Like, packaging is always 10 out of 10 amazing. I have no idea what it's going to be. I think it'd be cool if it was an eyeshadow palette, but also I feel like Pat McGrath, the type of eyeshadow palette she comes out with don't really speak to me that much. Like, some of them do catch my attention, but not enough to actually pay the price of a Pat McGrath eyeshadow palette, so I've never purchased it, but it is something new coming from Pat McGrath. Let me know your guesses down below. If she hasn't revealed it yet, feel free to leave it in the comments and let me know what you guess. What do you think that she's coming out with, and what do you think the theme of the palette is? I'd love to hear. Okay, Gavissi Beauty, which is a brand that I've been eyeing, especially now that Yvette Beauty has shut down, and Yvette Beauty was my go-to brand when it came to cake liners, water activated liners. Ugh, I love that brand so much, but they are shutting down. So ever since they were shutting down, I'm starting to check out and keep my eye on Gavissi Beauty, because they also do the water activated liners and they have tons of them, and Giovanna is an affiliate with them, has a lot of their products and features them a lot, so I'm very curious to try them. I trust her. She does water activated liners all day long. She is a pro at it, so I trust her recommendations, and they've been a brand I've been eyeing as kind of like a substitution for you know, a brand I can try to see if I recommend for water activated liner, that type of thing. And they're coming out with a new palette, and this is a duochrome. I don't think it's a multi-chrome. I think it's just duochrome water activated liners, and they're very pretty. They look like the type of eyeshadows that have been coming out a lot when it comes to duochrome and multi-chrome type of palettes in the indie world, but these are water activated liners and they're a lot of fun. I have one water activated liner that's the duochrome like this from Yvette Beauty. That's so much fun just to throw a little pop in there, because, you know, putting it on top of a look, which I almost did today and then I decided not to, but putting it on top of a look, it's almost like, you know, you don't really see it, but then when you turn in the right lighting, it just stands out so beautifully. Or if you wear it all by itself, it just stands out so beautifully. It's really neat. So I was eyeing this palette, but I don't think I'm going to get it because it definitely, the pan that I have from Yvette Beauty is a 4 quad pan, and I feel like I can see all 4 of them in the Gavissi one, so I feel like it'd be a bit repetitive, but I was excited when I saw they were launching something new and slightly tempted. Oh yes, Colourpop of course has launched something new. However, Colourpop has launched something new that I'm actually down for. And that is kind of surprising, right? They're launching this newest Aurora Struck Aurora. I say that so weird, that word. Aurora Struck collection. But this palette, it's not my speed in that I'm not planning to pick it up. However, I can look at that and say, that's a cool palette. Like, it's got a lot of like the neutral, typical kind of tones when it comes to Colourpop. However, along with those, it's got a little pop of something different and interesting and unique and kind of eye-catching. And honestly, I wouldn't be like mad to try this palette out. It's a palette that I would, I think, get a lot of colors and a lot of looks that I enjoy. It's very cool tone, which is different for me, and I always like to try different things. I love the warm tones and these type of colors and the bright colors, but these kind of neutral and cool toned grayed out eyeshadows are very intriguing. So I wouldn't mind trying it. I like that pop of like the green and the blue and the purple and that kind of dusty pink. It's very intriguing to me. So I overall am just happy to see Colourpop coming out with something really cool. And also it really does go along with the theme of the outside packaging with the Aurora Borealis, I think is the theme of it. It says Aurora Struck, but I think it goes along really well. And also just with the picture that they have for the cover, it is those bright, beautiful tones, but it also has just a little bit of grayed outness to the picture, which I think just totally brings in the color story of the palette so perfectly. So yeah, it's a big palette. It's a more neutral-ish type of palette. It's definitely a very cool tone type of palette, but it's definitely intriguing to me, and if I wasn't so busy with palettes, I wouldn't mind trying it. However, I'm not planning to pick it up, as I said, because I do have a lot, but it's a Colourpop palette. I have to give them props, you know, round of applause. It's a palette that they have brought out that I'm actually like, okay, that's cool. That's a fun release, and I can look at it and I don't go like, I've seen this a million times. Like if I really studied it and looked at the different sections, I could probably be like, yeah, we've seen that before. But as a whole, I feel like they brought out something unique for them, and I think that's pretty cool. Okay, Ensley Cosmetics. I'm not very familiar with the brand, but I've seen Motivate the Earth and Makeup Release Radar share their new launches, and I've always been intrigued, but they are collaborating with Brittany Huffman, who had a collab with Belle Beauty Bar previously, and she's collaborating with Ensley or I think I'm saying that right, Cosmetics for the Midwinter Dream palette, and this is a very striking palette. I don't have plans to get it because as a palette as a whole, like it's got all dark tones and then it's just got tons of gorgeous shimmery type of tones, which is absolutely beautiful. But for me, it's missing that mid-tone mattes. If you're someone who likes, you know, something dark in your outer corner and then just kind of playing with all the sparkle and all the shine on your eyes, this is the type of palette for you. But you guys know me, I like to play with my crease, I like to play with my outer corner, blending different mattes and whatnot. So for me, it's not really the type of palette that I want to try, so I don't plan to pick it up. But just looking at the swatches, looking at the palette, it does look very pretty. I think she did a great job. Brittany did a great job of putting this collection together, and I haven't heard anything from the brand. As I said, I've seen the brand, you know, around, but I haven't like paid attention to reviews, so I don't know much about them. But it looks like they did a really nice job, and I'll be curious to see what people think about it as it launches and people try it out on YouTube. Alright, so Game Beauty is coming out with an entire huge collection. This is their Persona 5 Royal Collection, and this just kind of came out like out of nowhere. I was kind of shocked. I saw it, I was like, okay, a brand released a new collection. What is it? Makeup Revolution? And that was the first, you know, brand that popped to the top of my head, or Hip Dot or something like that. And then I looked at it and was like, it's Game Beauty. It just kind of threw me for a loop because I feel like in the past, Game Beauty has always done these type of teaser type of launches with their palettes where they'll have you guess the shade or they'll kind of sneak it for a while before finally revealing it. And for them just to kind of, and maybe I just missed them, which could also be it, but I'm kind of scrolling their page and I don't see any kind of sneak peeks of it really. It was just kind of like, bam, here's our collection. The Phantom Thieves, I think is what the collection's called. And they have 4 different type of blushes, 2 different type of eyeshadow palettes, little 9-pan eyeshadow palettes, liners. I'll just read their list instead of guessing from the picture. They have 4 Heat Wave blush singles, 6 Hot Night liquid lipsticks, 6 After School liquid eyeliner pens, and 4 Shapeshifter chameleon eyeshadows. So multi-chromes. And then a Phantom Thieves makeup palette and a Metaverse eyeshadow palette. It's launching Monday 12/12. Shipping starts January. Yeah, it's just a whole big collection, but it just kind of threw me for a loop because like I said, they have such beautiful artwork and they usually sneak it for a while and show the cover and then tell people to like guess the inside type of thing. If you've ever been around for a Game Beauty launch, let me know, like, isn't that how they usually launch things? So to see this one just come out and be like, hey, by the way, we're launching this entire big collection without any buildup, really threw me for a loop, if you can't tell, because I've been going on about this for way too long. So let's just move past that, Katie, and keep on trucking. All the other products is an easy pass for me. I think I'm not really into this type of game. Like, I feel like there are games that are the palettes that they've done in the past centered around like game themed have been really pretty and intriguing to me, who's not a game person. But this type of artwork and this type of gaming isn't really my speed. So it's an easy pass on that aspect. And then for the palette, they don't have really great pictures of it, but I don't know, they're colorful, but I'm not really drawn to anything. I can't really see what's shimmer and what's a matte when it comes to the palettes. I don't see any better pictures either. Let me see, they have close-ups of all their blushes, all their liners, but they haven't posted the palette. Liquid lipsticks, yeah. And then they've, you know, the multi-creams, but they haven't shown close-ups of the palette, so I'm working off of this tiny little picture here. But I don't know, just looking at it, like I said, I thought Makeup Revolution when I first saw it, or Hip Dot, or I Heart Revolution, any of the Revolution lines, you know what I mean? But I don't know, I'm just not drawn, and it doesn't captivate me the way Game Beauty's typical palettes captivate me or excite me. So for me, I saw this and I was like, okay, it's an easy pass. So let me know what you guys think. Am I alone here? I don't know, I just feel like this collection doesn't fit for me with the brand theme that they've built for so long. I don't know, I could be going around in circles and I could be making no sense at all. Maybe you're looking at this saying this makes complete sense for the brand, and I guess from the gaming aspect and the artwork it makes sense, but just the way they launched it all and just how much there is, it's just kind of like, whoa, where'd this come from? Okay, I know this is a bit of an older launch, but I wanted to touch on a couple here that I missed during my Kate's Giving videos and I didn't have time to sit down and do a will I buy it. But Martine Cosmetics launched their Skied palette. It has 18 shades, 11 shimmers, 7 mattes, heavy on the shimmers, but it's a pretty nice color story. And I think if I didn't already have the Odin's Eye Christmas themed palettes, I'd be more inclined and kind of drawn to this palette because it has that heavy emphasis on the green and red, but it has that pop of yellow in there. But having just tried the Odin's Eye Merry Christmas, Christmas Eve and Merry Christmas palettes, I look at this and I'm like, I've done these looks already, and so I'm not planning to get it, but it is really pretty. If you're not someone who picked up the Odin's Eye, maybe this would intrigue you and, you know, interest you, but just looking at it, it's got a nice mix of reds and greens. I think the shimmers, like I said, a little heavy on the shimmers for me, but I think it's really pretty, and it really does look like a really condensed mashup of the Christmas Eve and the Merry Christmas palettes, because it has those reds and greens, like I said. It has that pop of yellow, it has a blue in there, it has the dark tones. I don't know, it just makes me think of that. It could also just be me because, like I said, I just finished trying that palette. But anyway, overall, I think it's a really cute palette, but I don't have plans to pick it up. But I thought it was a really neat color story when I initially saw it. Another palette launch that I want to talk about is the Ace Beauty newest palettes. Their Envy and their Aura eyeshadow palettes. I almost bought these palettes more than once. Even the one that I feel like isn't super my vibe, I was kind of down to at least trying because I like the grunge aspect to that purple pink palette. But the Envy palette, like, it's got a gorgeous array of green and blue. You guys know I love that type of palette. It kind of reminds me of the, I have it up here somewhere. Let me think. I gotta think about where I stuck these things. The Tropical Vibes palette mixed with, what was that more blue theme palette that they launched? I forget the name of it, but like this palette with a little bit more pop of blue. So when I saw that, I was like, you know what, I don't need to pick it up since it is kind of a little bit repetitive. I like the color story, but I do kind of have it between this and the, I think it's Vintage Dawn is the palette that I'm thinking of. I used to be on Ace Beauty's PR list, so I was kind of hoping and excited that I might be getting it in the mail to try it, and then of course I would have featured it if I did get it, but I actually recently got removed from their PR list. I actually reached out because, like I said, I've gotten their PR list a couple times, and then the last launch I think I didn't get from them, and I was like, well, maybe they're being a little selective, or maybe they, you know, it was right during a move, and maybe a lot of times brands, when they see that, they'll skip me for that launch because they know I'm busy, obviously. So I was like, maybe that's something, you know, something like that is up. But then this one started sneaking, and so I was like, I think I got dropped. And so I actually reached out to them and was like, you know, just wanted to check and see. Maybe I also didn't want to go into my old address now that I just moved. So anyway, I reached out to them around when this was launching just to clarify and see if that was, you know, if that was it, or if my packages were getting lost. And they did remove me from the PR list. I asked them if I was still an affiliate because I have an affiliate code with them, and I don't think I ever got a reply back from them, so I need to ask them again. But yeah, I was a little bummed by that. I can understand why, like, you know, brands have to kind of change up their PR list and kind of reevaluate their lists. And for me personally, I'm not someone who really pushes the links and the codes, so I'm sure on their end it doesn't look like I bring them a whole lot. And I am also a tiny channel, like, I'm not gonna beat around the bush. I'm not that big of a channel. So when they told me I wasn't on the list anymore, I was like, Okay, I guess that makes sense. But I was a little bummed because as a brand, like Ace Beaute is a brand that I'm really excited for, and I really do enjoy their palettes. I love their color stories and their formulas. Like the Paletopoly palette was the last one I got sent from them, and I just love that color story and the formula so much. But anyway, all that to say, I'm no longer on the PR list, so if I want a palette from them, I'm going to be picking it up. And since I found that out, I knew I wasn't on it. I have a lot of palettes, even though this color story, getting back to the, you know, the Envy and the Aura palettes, I really did like this color story. However, I was like, you know what? You don't need to pick it up, Katie. You still have so much to go through, and I'm getting, you know, starting to gear up for end of the year favorites I gotta focus on, so I ended up not picking it up, even though I really did want to pick it up. I think it's a very beautiful palette. Another palette that recently launched-ish, I feel like it's old news now, but it's more recent and since my last Will I Buy, it's the GlamLite and Strawberry Shortcake collaboration. I tell you, GlamLite coming at the end of 2022, I feel like they're always consistently launching collections, but at the end of 2022, it's just been like one after another after another. I feel like, what was it? Was it Frosty Flakes? Ever since like that Frosty Flakes, then there was the Barbie collection, then there was the Scooby-Doo collection, and now there's this collection, and I know I'm forgetting one or two more because they've just had a lot of collections recently. Anyway, Strawberry Shortcake. I think this is a cute color story with the green and the pink with that red mixed in. Very, very cute. I love a green-pink moment. As far as having a whole palette kind of themed around that, I don't know. I saw it and I was like, yeah, I'd enjoy getting a couple looks from it, but as far as like creating a ton of looks and having a palette dedicated to that green-pink color story, obviously I didn't pick it up because I wasn't super into it, but I think it is very cutely done, and for being a pink and green palette, I feel like they did a decent job giving variety. It's a little heavy on the very soft, very light type of pinky shimmers in there, and when you really look at the mattes, it's like only 2 greens, 1, 2, 3, 4, like 4-ish red pink tones and then a coral in there. So that also, when I saw that, I was like, a little heavy on the shimmers, and shimmers that, I don't know, they're pretty enough. They had 3 green shimmers, which you guys know I'm totally into, but as a whole, I just saw this palette. I was like, okay, that's cute. And then I saw the swatches. I was like, that would create some fun looks, but I wasn't really into it, so I ended up, you know, passing and having no problems passing on this palette. But you have to let me know, did you end up picking it up? Were you excited about this launch? And let me know if you were into Strawberry Shortcake as a kid. I wasn't, and maybe that's why this doesn't pull on my heartstrings as much, but I do remember seeing it and thinking it was cute, but I wasn't that into it. Alright, I'm just going to jump over to Makeup Release Radar real quick and just mention a couple more. Sonia G is launching new brushes, and I tell you, Sonia G brushes are just, they're brushes that are beautiful just to look at and hold and like use. Like, they're expensive. Oh my goodness, are they expensive. However, they are just so very nice to use. I have like 2 or 3 Sonia G brushes that I've bought off of Mercari in the past, and I always enjoy whenever I reach over and I'm like, oh, like it's clean, I'm gonna use it for today. And it's just so nice to use. Like, it's such a joy to use it because it's so easy and effortless to apply your makeup and blend, and I like how versatile her brushes are too. Often I can use one brush for several different areas and whatnot. They just work really well being dual purpose like that. Anyway, all that to say, she's coming out with 3 new eyeshadow brushes that I think are just absolutely beautiful. I'm sure they feel heavenly, but I don't have plans to pick it up because, let's see, how much are they? The set for 3 brushes is $140. I just can't do it, so I will enjoy it from a distance, but they look very pretty. Oh yeah, also I wanted to mention real quick, Blend Bunny Cosmetics launched Precision Tape, and this is not like super exciting, it's not a palette or anything like that, but when I saw it I was like, that's a cool launch, and definitely the next time Blend Bunny like launches a new palette and I'm going to be placing an order with her, I'll be throwing this in because it's definitely a product that I would like to use day to day. I tend to use tape, but also like if I put tape in my drawer, and I'll just like make it a little less sticky on my hand before I put it on my eye. But when I have tape in my drawer, it just always ends up that the kids will need it for some reason and we can't find any other tape than what's in my drawer, and then I'll be like, sure, you can go grab it, and then they'll take it and then it never gets back in, and then I don't have it and I forget to use it. So all that long rabbit trail to say, it would be nice to have it just like makeup tape in my drawer so that it doesn't end up like the kids needing to use it or taking it away, and it's also already kind of gentle, not too sticky and whatnot, and it'd just be nice and easy to roll out a little bit, pop it on there, and just keep a cleaner cut to my outer corner here. I don't know, I just thought this was a really cool addition, and like I said, it's nothing I'm gonna go out of my way and purchase now and just like make an order from them now to get it, but I'll definitely be throwing one into my order the next time I make a Blend Bunny Cosmetics order. Maybe I'll pick up more brushes. No, I don't need more of her brushes, but I really like her brushes. Okay, and then last up, let's just talk really briefly about Made by Mitchell's newest launches. He came out with blushes, bronzers, and then also, what is this? A multi-use color palette. So like if you're someone who likes to mix colors together and do like, it's more like creative painting and not really like doing makeup, but like doing different characters or face painting and stuff like that. I feel like that's mostly, or like if you do a lot of Halloween makeup and you're becoming a character, I feel like that's mostly what you use that type of product for, because I've never had a reason to use like this type of cream palette. But anyway, I think it's a really cool launch for him. I like the color selection he has in here when it comes to like the more skin tone colors and then the more bright colorful colors. I feel like he put a lot of really fun colors. I don't see like a true red in here, like a really solid red, which I feel like would be important to have, that way you can mix and match to make other colors. He has a solid blue, but the red is more, unless these colors are showing up incorrect, but the red is more of like a hot pink, and then even there's not even a yellow. Like, I'm surprised he doesn't have at least the primary colors in here. It's more of like a neon yellow green if he has for the yellow. But anyway, still a really nice selection for the colors. Packaging for the blushes, again, I saw the blushes open first initially and I was just like, what shape is that supposed to be? Like, I could not figure out what shape it was, and then they closed it and I was like, ah, it's an M, that makes sense. But I was so confused. I was just like, what is that supposed to be? Why is it so like bulky? What shape? It just looked, I was like, is it like a lamp or, you know, a tea kettle? That's the first thing I thought of, like a teacup. Not a teacup, but a tea kettle. That still doesn't sound like the right word. Teapot. That's the word. A teapot. That's what I initially thought it was when I saw it open. I was like, is that supposed to be a teapot? Or like the genie lamp from Aladdin? Something like that. Anyway, I think it's a cool collection from them, a cool launch from Made by Mitchell, but I'm not planning to pick anything up. I still often think about his palette that he came out right before I had Sophia, and I almost bought it over the Black Friday deals and whatnot. But I held myself back and I haven't picked it up. But no, there's probably about once a week I think back on that palette and I have regrets. But I haven't picked it up yet. But I do think that, one more note on his new blushes that he launched, I do think it's a neat addition because he has a lot of interesting and fun type of blushes. They're not just different shades of pink or like a burgundy or anything like that. Like, there's a purple in there, there's an orange in there, there's a bright yellow. I think that's fun. Would I wear a bright yellow blush? No, but I think it's fun. So I think that's fun and different. But anyway, overall really neat. I don't think I'd ever pick any of the blushes or bronzers up though, just because of the unique shape of it. So overall, I'm not going to be picking anything up, but I did think it was a really cool and fun and definitely different launch from him. Or not different launch for him, but just different launch coming out from the brand that it caught my attention and I was intrigued. Alright, so that is going to do it for this new makeup releases, will I buy it video, just talking about the new makeup releases in the indie world that caught my attention. And as always, I love to hear from you guys what caught your attention and what, you know, kind of piqued your interest. Were there any new launches that you were excited for? Were there any new launches since my last one last month, like I said, that you end up picking up? I'd love to hear that down below in the comments. I did pick up the Menagerie Claws and Paws palette, and I just uploaded a video this past week. So if you missed that video, I have 4 looks in total with the Claws and Paws palette from Menagerie Cosmetics. Such a cute, beautifully done, of course, palette. Like, the artwork is just stunning. So check that video out if you missed it. But that is also a new release that I was very excited for, but I didn't mention today because I already have a video up. Anyway, all that to say, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, let me know your thoughts down below in the comments, and if you want to continue getting daily-ish content from me, I'm over on Instagram, LadyKatie92 over there, and you can check me out and see reels, up-close eye pictures, all that sort of things. If you like baby kittens, I have baby kittens, and my little baby, she's 3 months old now, Sophia, and I share in my stories sometimes throughout the week. I'll share little bits here and there of our life, but yeah, if you want to see baby kittens, that you can find in my Instagram stories because I post them about every day. But anyway, with all that said, that's going to do it for me, and I'll see you guys very soon in my next video. Bye, guys.